Hello, Marina.
Hey, Natalie, how are you today?
Wonderful. And you?
Oh, doing amazing as well. So today we're actually talking about a super important topic, which is SEO versus social media when it comes to promoting your content.
Yeah, like what's the difference between social media and a search engine? Which is better? Should you focus on social media as a new blogger or SEO, search engine optimization? What's the best use of your time? Why does it matter?
That's an awesome question. And another thing is how both of these things work and how you can profit from both of them. So one of the advantages slash disadvantages of SEO versus social media is that one, SEO takes a while to work, whereas social media is immediate. So
Is
you'll
it
see results right away with social media, whereas, wait, go ahead.
I'm just saying, is it though? Because let's do this like debate style. Because I would say that social media is very much hindered by how many followers you have. So if you don't have a lot of followers, you don't really get a lot of reach.
That is true. But if you do have a lot of followers or if you're growing, then you will have that return with social media. But I feel like you should actually focus on both because you're actually playing both games. So you're playing the long-term game with SEO because that will work independent of the number of followers you have, even if you're just starting out. And social media, you may get that virality content just when you're finished posting something. So Natalie has created this brilliant graphic talking all about the difference between SEO and search engine optimization versus social media. So do you want to walk through your thought process behind this?
Yeah, definitely. So I made this graphic for my Instagram to talk to you guys about the differences. So to me, the main difference between SEO or search engines and social media is that search engines are all about keywords, keyword phrasing. So it's basically the words that you're using in your titles, in your content, in your videos that lets a search engine like Google or Bing know what your content is about. Whereas on social media, you get found via hashtags. You're using the hashtags that are relevant to your content. I'd say with search engines, it's all about your research, how well your post is positioned or your videos. The content you're sharing, you did the research with the keywords and you're delivering in your content. Whereas I find like social media is all about reach, not necessarily about research, right? There's like so much stupidness on social media. Let's be honest. There's no research going into any of that, but it's the reach. Also with search engines, it's about authority. And this is something we've talked about previously. Authority is basically how reliable a source you are to a search engine, and authority takes time to build. So I would say that if you're a new blogger, yes, it's probably going to be a lot easier for you to maybe gain traction with social media than with a search engine, but you've got to play the short game and the long game. Social media is about popularity, and popularity also takes time to build. So I don't think we can say like, oh, social media is super easy in the beginning. It's not necessarily, it isn't. Everything takes time. And search engine is all about ranked. Like, so basically whoever has the best content and the best authority is going to outrank whoever doesn't. Where on social media, it's just about if you go viral or if you get all those reshares, then your content is going to take off. Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't miss anything. And I love one thing that you said, that you need to play both games. So basically, when I'm creating my YouTube videos or my blog posts, my main focus isn't what those posts will look like on social media. My main focus is how can I optimize these pieces of content so that they do well in search. So I will insert my keywords. I will mention my keywords if I'm actually doing a YouTube video and focus all on that. And then I'm actually going to use social media as a means to promote those pieces of content that already have the keywords embedded within them.
I love that. I want to show you guys a quick example. of how you can play both games at the same time. So say, for example, I just wrote this post on if it's time to hire your first employee. That's my keyword. It's in the link, hire your first employee. It's in my images, it's in my content. And if I show you guys on the back end, if I edit my post, that keyword is throughout my content, right? Like I use currently Yoast SEO, and at the very bottom of my content, it tells me how well I did for SEO. So I got orange, so I'm pretty happy about that, you know, saying that my keyword is throughout my post, but also at the very bottom, you can use something like social warfare or grow.me by Mediavine, which I'm switching to shortly, where you can preemptively insert your tweets, your Pinterest pin descriptions, and your social sharing sized image. So I did this when I wrote my content. I SEO'd it, the heck out of it when I wrote it. I made sure all my images had the right keywords in them, related keywords, and it's ready to go for social media so that when I'm sharing it, it's also going out to social. And I also made a video. So you can see that it's two games at once.
I love that. And I love how you're actually using social media to complement what you're already doing. And you're actually doing the work for those people who want to share your content. You're not having them and asking them, oh, just share this image, share this post. You're literally giving them everything they need. You're giving them the hashtags that you researched. You're creating descriptions, which already have your keywords, which will make your content go even further than if you were just like, hey, just share this post over here and see how things go.
100%. And one thing I want us to quickly cover is what is the difference between, so what's a search engine and what's social media? Do you want to tell us about the search engines, Marina?
Absolutely. So basically a search engine is something that will do the work for you. If someone goes there and inputs something, there's a search bar and they're like, how to start a blog, it will go ahead and provide you with those answers. So even if someone created a piece of content 1 month ago, 1 year ago, 5 years ago, it will show you the piece of content that is most relevant to your query rather than the thing that basically was just created last or most recently. And with that, you have things like Google and YouTube, which are basically gigantic search engines where you're literally just going there, looking for something, and it will give you the results. And one thing that a lot of people don't know, and will actually put it in the social media category rather than search engines, is Pinterest. And as Natalie, who is your Pinterest coach, will say, Pinterest is one of the best ways to grow because unlike with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, it acts just like Google or Bing or YouTube because people are just going there and inputting what they're looking for, and you'll see all of those different pins related to that query.
Definitely. I think, Pinterest is perfect because it's a search engine that pretends it's social media. Yes, you have profile pages and followers, but it's just a facade. It's not really how it works. So, traditional social media like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, for the most part, your followers see your content first. Yes, through hashtags, it is searchable, but I think that you're very much limited unless you get those reshares to go viral from reaching a global audience. Whereas the search engine is kind of doing the work for you. You don't need to go out there and post your link 50 million times on every single platform. If your content is the best and you have the authority, your post will rank. So that's kind of like your energy, I think, is split in different directions where when you're focusing on a search engine, your energy is in the beginning. So it's back to that debate about producing versus promoting. But if you're focusing on social media, your energy is in the sharing. Like it's after you created the content. But I feel like search, SEO is very much while you're creating the content. So the key here is to kind of find a way to do both.
I love that. And I feel like you do both, I do both. And I feel like that's the best way to approach this whole debate between social media and SEO. Create the content that is optimized for SEO. And then after you've done that, go ahead and promote that same piece of content over on social media.
Love it. Such great tips. So that was our video on, social media versus SEO. What should you focus on as a new blogger? So I'm Natalie Pardo, your Pinterest coach. Be sure to subscribe to my channel.
And I'm Marina Lotaif, and I create easy tutorials on how to stand online. And make sure to subscribe to my channel down below as well.
And check out our next video. It's awesome. You're going to love it. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye for now.
Bye.